Hello everyone and welcome back to our 9-month odyssey around the world. And today we have quite the dichotomy. We go from touring one of the largest nuclear submarines in the world to an amazing crepe.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we are living that full life going all the way around the world and taking 9 months to do it on the ultimate world cruise.
Well, we sure are, friends. And today we're in Cherbourg, France. We're on the northern coast of France. And the nice thing here is our ship basically parks right downtown.
Oh, I love those. Those are great.
It's ideal.
Yeah, it really is. It makes it so easy just to walk into town. Well, let's talk a little bit about what most people will do in Cherbourg, because as you guys know, we're not most people, so we're going to do something different. But the two biggest things if you get into Cherbourg, France, is one is to go and see the Normandy beaches, go see the World War II sites, the museums, the cemeteries, and of course, Omaha Beach and all of that. We've done that in the past. As if you're following our channel, you know that we used to live in Europe. We spent 3 weeks actually driving through France with our kids, and that was one of the most moving experiences in my life to just kind of kneel down on Omaha Beach and to think about the sacrifice of the people that was made there was unbelievably moving. So if you have any interest at all in history, World War II history, I would highly recommend. It's only about an hour drive to get from Cherbourg to the beaches in that area. So very easy to get there. It's a good jumping off point for that. The second thing that most people will do is Mont Saint-Michel.
Right, that was a favorite of mine 25 years ago when we were here.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that is about an hour and a half drive, almost between an hour and a half and 2 hours. That one is a little bit further away, not undoable, but you really can't do both those things in one day because they're in opposite directions. But Mont Saint-Michel is
I wouldn't have
stunning.
minded going back to see Mont Saint-Michel, but as you know, if you've been following along, I'm having a lot of knee issues at this point. My knees are hurting, and I know Mont Saint-Michel is a lot of stairs. It's a beautiful, beautiful place, but a lot of steps.
Yeah, so we can't recommend, you can't go wrong, I guess is the way to say it, going to either one of those destinations. They're both amazing. But since we've been to both of those, we wanted to just explore the town.
Right. Well, the cruise ship terminal is where it used to be the old immigrant terminal. Mm-hmm. And so I thought this was really interesting. As you exit the cruise ship, you are walking along where immigrants who are coming into France actually, where they put their luggage, where they sat, and they even had videos on the walls that kind of showed what it was like back in the day. And that was very, very interesting to see.
Yeah, it was one of the more fascinating cruise terminals we've been in because it was so historic. Right. Well, then a great thing here is when you walk out of the cruise terminal, you literally go out one door, you walk about 20 steps, and straight across from it is La Cité de la Mer. This is a combination museum, so it has 4 museums in one, and is just absolutely amazing. And it's 20 steps from the cruise terminal into this museum.
Well, I have a pro tip before we head over there. As you leave the immigration area, before you actually leave the port, there's a desk there, and you can get a discount ticket to get entrance into the museum and save you a few dollars. So be sure you pick up those discount coupons right there and use them.
Yeah, it really came in handy for us.
Yes.
Well, you walk in the door of the museum, and that first area is completely free. So you can walk right into that area, no ticket, nothing like that, and it is absolutely worth it. Even if you've got other plans, like let's say you're going on a shore excursion to the Normandy beaches or Mont Saint-Michel, take a few minutes and walk across and go into the atrium or the lobby of the Cité de la Mer. It is amazing. I mean, especially for a geek like me.
So you're really enjoying it.
Yeah, it's full of underwater vehicles, submersible submarines, all kinds of historic vehicles, and you can walk right up to them and see all of them. In fact, the submersible that James Cameron attempted to set the deepest solo dive in the world is right there. You can see that. You can see, it's really worth it. And it's free. You can walk right across and see that. Well, we went from the hall that has all of the different submersibles and things, and then that's where you have to buy your ticket. And then we went into the very first of the 3 other museums that are in there, and that's the Redoutable. So the Redoutable is the largest ballistic missile submarine that you can tour that's open to the public in the world. And it is amazing. It truly is amazing. We've toured some other museums in Hawaii and one you haven't seen yet in New York. So thanks to our friends there for taking us in there. But this one was really quite stunning. For me and for us, growing up in the Cold War, growing up in the 80s, I never thought that I'd actually go inside a ballistic missile submarine to see some of the parts and to see what it is. Well, let's talk a little bit about what the Redoutable is. Redoutable means fearsome in French. And as we said, it was a ballistic missile submarine that was updated throughout the years. It was retired in the early 90s. And in 2000, they actually dry docked it here in Cherbourg, and it took them 2 years to prepare it so that you could go in tours on it. So as an example, they had to cut out the center section, take out the nuclear reactor, and then put another section in so you could safely walk through that area, things like that. So I really found this just stunning, amazing. I thought it was a great tour.
You could go on and on about this. And as far as I'm concerned, I did find it very interesting. I always like to learn new things. I probably wasn't as geeked out as you were about it, but it was very interesting.
Yeah.
And then when you leave the Redoutable, there is a really nice interactive area, probably for children and adults alike, but the kids, I think, would really enjoy this. You get to learn what it's like to really be on a submarine and to drive a submarine. So a lot of hands-on interactive activities there.
Oh, and while we were in that area, we met Luke, who's been following our entire world cruise adventure. So we want to be sure to say hi, Luke, and glad you're following along with us. Yeah.
But then we're going to go to our second museum, which is the Titanic Museum. And as you remember in our previous video, we had in Cove, we were at another Titanic museum. This one was better than Cove. It really
quite a lot
was.
larger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it quite meets the scale of the one in Branson, Missouri, but I found this one to be just fascinating. In this one, though, you don't get the little card where you're a person. So don't expect that you do at many other Titanic museums where you're a person and you find out at the end if you live or die. But this one here, you go in and one of the first things you're going to see is a huge screen. And part of it goes in real time and then part of it will speed up in real time. But you're on the bow of the Titanic as it is hitting the iceberg and as it is sinking. And oh my gosh, that is so moving. Well, I found that video to be just really interesting to watch. I would agree. I can't imagine being on the Titanic.
We probably sat there for 20 minutes and watched it because you just keep, it's that whole thing of seeing what happened on the Titanic.
Oh, it was. But they showed a lot of profiles of different people that were on the Titanic. They showed different rooms, like a first class room or a second and third class room. And you got to see the furniture and the different furnishings that were there. They also had a really interesting area that was kind of a holographic theater of the gym of the Titanic, and so you got to watch this holographic movie of what happened in their gym.
Yeah, and it was actually a replica or an actor pretending to be a real person. The actual person that ran the gym, it was their trainer on the Titanic, and you see a couple come in the big flowing dresses, and she's playing with the dumb, the different
throwing a weighted ball.
Right, exactly. So I found the technology just fascinating. So that was really neat.
I enjoyed this museum. Well, the third museum that we went into, or I guess technically the fourth, if you consider the free area, the first museum, was the aquarium. Now this was a good aquarium. It wasn't great, but it was good. It had some nice displays. It also had some interactive areas for the kids. Beautiful jellyfish display. That was just, the jellyfish were just gorgeous there.
Yeah, there were some that paid homage to Jacques Cousteau and scuba diving, and of course me being a scuba diver, I found all that fascinating. So it was all this under the ocean type stuff. Yeah.
Well, we were at this entire area, if you want to say the 4 museums, for about 3.5 hours is what it took us, and it's time for lunch. We're getting hungry. Well, our mission for lunch was to have crepes, one of my favorite dishes, crepes and cider. Brittany is the most famous area in France for crepes, but we're not stopping in Brittany, but we're right next door. We're in Normandy, so
right.
we figure we can find some good crepes here. And we found a place. You did research, and we found a place called Titanic, and it did not disappoint.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. And so here's a little bit of a pro tip as you're traveling. We found it. We were in the museum so long. Now it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And Titanic it was packed. We went in and thought, oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to even eat here. And it was a little disappointing when I went and asked the lady very nicely. And she said, oh, come back in about an hour, hour and a half. Maybe I'll have a table for you. Well, just as we're talking to her, I looked outside and there was a small little, like one table on the outside of the business. And I just looked and said, well, can we sit out here? And she just looks and goes, Sure. Have a seat. And so we sat down when other people were being turned away, and there was just because we asked. It was nice because we actually saw other people from the cruises. We got to sit out on a little patio, and the food was amazing.
It was. Well, we had the special, and we each had the special.
Yeah.
This is why I gained the 23 pounds on the cruise. There was 3 crepes for each of us, 2 savory crepes and 1 dessert crepe. But our crepes were phenomenal.
Yeah, everything from salmon to egg with ham to tomatoes and mushrooms, and the cider was just some of the best cider I've ever had. And they served it in the traditional, bowls. So traditionally, you drink cider out of like a bowl. Mm-hmm. You don't drink it out of a crystal glass or something. And in fact, that cider was so good that I went to ask the proprietor. I said, well, where can I buy some of this? Is there a grocery store? Or, and she started talking, saying, well, maybe here, maybe here. And she said, well, how many bottles do you want? And I said, I don't know, 2 to take back to the ship. She goes, oh, I'll just sell you 2 bottles. She goes, here. And I was like, well,
oh my goodness,
how much is this going to cost me? This is going to, and €5. €5 for a bottle of cider.
Yeah. So we were very happy about that. And then we had our dessert crepes, which we can't forget about those. Mm-hmm. You had a honey dessert crepe, and I had Nutella, and
it was so good.
So good.
So we cannot recommend, if you're in Cherbourg, make a move, get over there as soon as you can when your ship comes in, and go to Titanic. It was just amazing.
And we'll link it down below.
Yeah,
as well.
We'll put a link down below. Yeah. Well, after we left there, we had to walk those crepes off. So we went in and we walked around by the shoreline, and we ended up going to the Basilica of the Holy Trinity. Mm-hmm. That was a nice church to stop in because we haven't seen enough churches on the World Cruise yet.
And inside this church, they had a nice statue of Joan of Arc, and the organ, the pipe organ, was huge.
Yeah, so that was a nice stop. Then we walked along the shoreline a little bit more, and then veered back into town. We hit a couple of shops. I looked at a wine and cheese shop. I think you looked at a couple kind of crafty shops. They had a nice square that had a merry-go-round, and no, it was just a nice town to stroll around in.
It was, and they also have a really nice tour as a horse and carriage tour, and we didn't do this, but other friends of ours on the ship did, and they said they thoroughly enjoyed it. Mm-hmm.
Well, now it's about time to start heading back to the ship. It's, as we said, it's about a 20-minute walk from the main town square back to our ship, and that was our adventure in Cherbourg, France.
Right. I'll show you my Christmas ornament that I got there.
Yeah, this one's a little unusual.
I got this at the Redoutable.
Yeah.
It's a little submarine
there
here.
You go. Yeah.
So I gotta figure out a way to put
I think there's going to be some
hanger
glue involved.
on that. I think there will be glue involved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And no, we enjoyed it thoroughly. So
I did.
We've been to this area of France before. And I would enjoy coming back again. I mean, it's always just a nice area to go to. I think we thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you've got a cruise ship that's stopping in Cherbourg, France, you're not going to regret it.
And I hope it's sometime to get back to Mont Saint Michel. I hope get my knees fixed up and then go back there.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow is going to be a really different adventure.
Exciting.
That's it. We're done with the ship. We're getting off.
Well, we are getting off for a week. But we've got some special things planned.
Mm-hmm. We're going to the Burgundy region of France. In fact, we're making a whole loop tour all the way from the north of France, all the way to Switzerland, through Munich, our old home there, and then meeting back up with the ship in northern Germany. So we've got quite a few adventures now off the ship that you're going to get to go see, but we're going to have an amazing time reuniting with some family. So you're going to have to see what that means and take a look at some of the amazing wine and adventures that we have over the next few days.
All right, friends, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you, and we will see you very soon. Have a beautiful day.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.